A win for Illinois in the fight over sanctuary status for now, and Iowa's congressional Republicans want to take on California with federal legislation. We'll get into that this morning with former Rock Island County Republican Party Chair Bill Bloom and former Rock Island Mayor Mark Schwiebert, a Democrat. Welcome both of you back to the program. Let's start with Iowa. We often hear Republicans complain about pork. Well, Republicans in Iowa have a beef with California. Governor Kim Reynolds wants the state's congressional delegation to do something about it on Capitol Hill. At issue is California's animal welfare law known as Proposition 12, approved by voters there. It requires livestock to have a certain amount of space in their pen so they can move around in them. So for that beef, pork, or other protein source to be sold in that state, specifically at least 24 square feet per hog of space, along with other requirements. That is more than most hog farmers in Iowa provide, and requires them to spend more money to build that added space. Now, they don't have to do this only if they want to sell their products in California. Well, Republicans want Congress to pass a law that bans states and local governments from passing laws that get in the way of other states producing livestock. It so happens to be called the Save Our Bacon Act. The U.S. Supreme Court upheld California's law, leaving it up to Congress to address. Why does Iowa care so much about California when there are 49 other states? Well, because California makes up 15% of the market of pork consumption. That is a lot of bacon, to be sure. So why isn't this a states' rights issue for California, Mark Schwiebert?
Well, I think it's interesting to note that this was adopted by a proposition by the people of California. It wasn't actually legislation that came out of the state. It also, I think, should be noted that actually the Biden administration and Tom Vilsack, Iowa's former governor, came out against this proposition for the very reasons that I think Kim Reynolds and the legislator in Iowa are talking about right now. Their argument is that if you have each state adopting regulations concerning the production of particular products in other states, it can create chaos. And the better way of handling that is through some kind of federal direction. President Biden pushed for that. Now the Republicans in Congress are pushing for it. Probably makes some sense. There are certain things that really need to be done at the federal level to create a lack of chaos, as Tom Vilsack put it, in terms of what's allowed and what's permitted in terms of the production of food products.
Bill Bloom, I imagine you agree with this.
Shocking. Well,
with Mark.
It's no surprise. Yeah, I absolutely do agree with it. I think this is another effort by California to try to impose its business practices on the rest of the country. I mean, you look at Prop 12. Well, first off, it was voted on by the people of California, but I guarantee you that not one of the people who voted in favor of this is probably involved in the agricultural industry in California. It's a bunch of people who don't know what they're talking about. It not only affects hogs, it also affects laying chickens and veal calves, and so and it's got reporting requirements to it. It affects distributors. It requires pens a certain size for sows, and I don't know if California is aspiring to hire a bunch of inspectors to go across the country and measure sow bins. But it's just another case like they do with automobiles, where they're trying to impose what they think is right out there on the rest of the country, when for the most part we disagree with them.